Hi, I'm Debbie Whitlock. Welcome to Back on the Road. This week, Krista Michelman from Michelman Insurance Group explains the possible problems associated with dropping your collision coverage. I'll also be chatting with Chuck Oxford, owner of Lakeside Collision Center of Bellevue.
Hi, I'm Krista Michelman. If you have an older vehicle, I'm sure you've considered dropping your collision coverage. But before you do, I recommend you consider a few important points. First, collision is usually associated with accidents where you are at fault. You may be thinking it would be easier and less expensive to eat the cost of your vehicle if you were in an accident. Consider this. How much are you paying for your collision coverage? If you're paying $10 per month for your coverage, is it really worth dropping? Being covered can give you peace of mind in many situations. Here are two examples. First, let's say that you are going through an intersection and a driver doesn't yield to you before making a left-hand turn. There are no witnesses or police, however, you exchange information with the other driver who appears to be apologetic about the situation. However, when you call the other driver's insurance company, the story has changed and the other driver says that you ran a red light and you are at fault. If you don't have collision coverage, your company cannot get involved and defend you. You will need to pursue the other driver in small claims court. Think about what this could mean to you in time and money. Secondly, having collision coverage can expedite your claims process. If you're involved in an accident with several other vehicles, it can take some time to determine who's at fault because people are in the hospital and there are several insurance carriers involved. With collision coverage, you can pay your deductible, get your car fixed, get back on the road, and let your claims adjuster work on the liability portion. If you are fault-free, your insurance company will get your deductible back for you from the other insurance company. So as you can see, there are a few things to consider when dropping collision coverage. I'm Krista Michelman from Michelman Insurance Group. See you next time.
I'm here with Chuck Oxford, owner of Lakeside Collision Center of Bellevue. Chuck, this is a question for our moms and dads with teen drivers. You know, these kids get their first vehicle, they save up to put some extra cool accessories on their car. If that child is in an accident, is it possible or likely that those extra accessories, the big fins, the fancy wheels, the things that we see driving around town, would those necessarily be covered under the typical coverage that you'd expect?
Maybe and maybe not, depending on your policy, because what is often overlooked in policy, especially for younger drivers, teenagers and college-age children, is that they often add very expensive accessories to their vehicles, you know, to make them sound better, look cooler, you know, and personalize the car. But what we find because 1 in 4 teenagers will have an accident. So when they come in with these vehicles that have been modified, and sometimes there's very expensive engine modifications done to these vehicles, we find that they haven't notified their insurance company for proper coverage of those additions, and some of those can be very expensive. So often policies will have a limit on how much they'll cover for, we'll say, aftermarket accessories, which can be the body kits, it can be headlights, it can be some of these very expensive stereo systems that are in the vehicles now, and things like special glass, special wheels, and these may or may not be covered. And so we get people coming in the shop that very saddened if they have an accident and they don't have the proper coverage.
Right, so this is a really good checklist item for the parents to give their kids, that as they're making additions or modifications to their vehicles, to be checking in with their insurance agent to let them know and make sure that the limits of coverage are still there.
Absolutely, we highly recommend it. Often the coverage isn't too expensive, but I think you have to face the reality, and we've had young people come into our shop that have made some very expensive modifications to their cars, and thinking that it's covered and realizing they never communicated with their insurance company, and they'll have very limited coverage or no coverage, and all that money is wasted.
Perfect. Thanks, Chuck. I hope you enjoyed this week's show. I'm Debbie Whitlock. We'll see you next time back on the road.